Policy somersault is one of the impediments to our progress as Nigerians. In Ogun State, the tussle for a cargo or passenger airport has raged without much ado. But the resolution is in sight as the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has backed the state's cargo airport project in Ilishan, Remo. TVC News' Kazim Olowe has an update on the project.
Ogun State government has reassured residents and investors that it's committed towards completing the first phase of the Ago Cargo Airport, approved and certified by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority and other recognized agencies before May 2022. The governor, Abiodun, made this known during his visit to the airport site at Ilishan Remo in Ekene local government area. The governor, who noted that he's not ready to join issues or make noise with anybody on projects that will boost the economy of the country, the state, and encourage individual prosperity, said the location of the airport, which has processing zone and testing center, was confirmed to be the most suitable for the project.
I look at this location. It's bound on one side by the Shagamu-Benin Expressway. It's less than about maybe half a kilometer away from here. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is maybe 1 kilometer away from here. Amongst other considerations, in terms of other infrastructure like gas infrastructure, there's a pipeline that runs parallel to the Shagamu-Benin Expressway, about half a kilometer away from here. The entire agro-value chain in this corridor, you have palm oil plantations, you have cashew plantations, you have rubber plantations, you have greenhouses in Shagamu. At the interchange, you have not the industries are in the interchange. I don't need to run through them. The Afrexim Bank have begun the construction of the first African International Testing Center right there at Shagamu, about another kilometer away. And that is a center where items for export will be evaluated and approved.
He noted that he's impressed with the level of work done on the 2.4-kilometer access road that will lead to the 3.4-kilometer runway.
More importantly, we bidded for the African Finance Development Bank Special Agro Processing Zone. And in that bid document, we chose this location, this airport location, which is about 5,000 hectares, to co-locate the SA processing zone here. Because of that, we now rename this place an Metropolis, meaning an airport city. As a matter of fact, in line with our plans, this airport, the first phase of it will be completed by May 2022, by the grace of God.
The airport project is being constructed on 500 hectares land size with provision for companies and industries to package and export their finished products in order to boost the economy of the country. Kazim Olowe, TVC News, Ilishan.
But actually, Ogun State we have a cargo airport at Ilishan, Remo, Ogun State, and that's the Jebu axis of Ogun State. Now, what are the advantages of this cargo airports?
You see, I've spoken to people before about the need for this kind of project. This kind of project is similar to what you have in other countries, what is called aeropolis. Aeropolis are set up in rural areas, rural communities where some farm produce are produced and then exported from that point. So those aeropolis are like international airports in rural communities. For example, you know that
Trying to open up that area.
the place they start to export, trying to export from multiple outlets. Now, look at a country like Ethiopia. Ethiopia exports flowers to countries of the West, Europe and America. And flower, you cannot keep flower for so long. So as the flowers are plucked, they are then taken to the airport close to the location, close to the farm, and then exported. There's no reason, for example, where in Mambila, for example, where we have a tea company, Island Tea, excellent green tea, excellent tea. There should be an airport there, something like this. All the testing facilities should be present. And then from there, yes, you can export. If we can have this aeropolis, look at Kano, for example. We have a long tomato belt. If we have this aeropolis, we have cargo airport located not far away from that area. Fresh tomatoes can be exported to Europe and America from that area. And I'm happy that Ogun State government is proceeding with this, because with this now, at least companies will have their offices not far from this complex, and they can export their products from that location. Because the governor is talking about testing site, that they will have testing sites located within the So 5,000 hectares of land are significant, and with a 3.4 kilometer runway. Yes, no, that means it will be easier to access it. So with 3.4 kilometer runway, I think it's significant.
GKB, one other thing is that a lot of people, they would look at states, they initiate this project, but later we look at the capacity of those states or the initiator to complete the project. The governor said 2022 expected to finish the first phase of it. Yeah. But because of cash crunch that we're experiencing in the country right now, so a lot of people will feel that, look, most of this project, it will be abandoned. And Ralph Areboshola actually initiated a cargo airport in Osun State before he left. But I don't know the state of that airport right now. So it's not just citing the thing, starting, but your ability to be able to see it through.
Well, like Gide said, most of these airports are not meant to be grand. I think that's the mistake we make generally when we try to just oppose what they are. We tend to look at them as international airports. Well, you and I know that.
It should just be something small.
Something basic. Not something grandiose. Nobody's asking them to
just
do
the basic facilities.
Too expensive.
That you to do and do it. The airport in Sao Tome cannot even be compared to the Accra airport. But they have a very high volume. People coming from Portugal and all that. But because they realized that what they needed was a very good runway. And then they can move it from there. So what we need to do is not to do the grandiose parts. Let's concentrate on the runway, on the testing grounds, basic things that they need.
Basic infrastructure.
Any other thing can be gotten in Lagos or Ibadan or Shagamu.
And just quickly, I'm happy that the controversy itself has been resolved, because the former governor, who refused to continue with this project after I took over from Otumba Gbenga, wanted a different site for a passenger airport. But the NCAA, the approving authority, has said this is the airport project that they approve. So that was good news for a cargo airport. The approval they have for an airport in that state is for a cargo airport, and it is for this location. So it's good news for Otumba, for Prince Abiodun. At least he can focus now. Yes, he can focus on the project.
The former governor also said that the WASCB project was a federal government project. So there's really a confusion.
But we'll see.
Where the thing is coming from.
We shall see.
Okay. Joining us via Skype is Ogun State Commissioner for Finance, Dakpo Okubadejo. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I want you to tell us about this cargo airport located at Ilishon Remo in Ogun State.
All right, thank you so much. I've been enjoying your discussions thus far. Just like it's been widely publicized, this airport was actually conceived during the penultimate administration of Otumba Gbenga Daniel, and around about 2007, a lot of the preparatory work for the airport had actually been done. as far back as that time. You know definitely quite well that having a project of this nature or of this scale would typically require a lot of work, technical work, geotechnical assessment, air control impact assessment, groundwater modeling, environmental impact assessment, the design, and also to ensure that the airport is commercially viable. It is critical that the project promoters, the Ogun State government at the time, also had conducted what is referred to as a pre-feasibility studies, which had shown that the business case for this particular facility will be an international cargo airport. Now, why cargo airports? We're very close to Lagos, that has an international airport. Ogun State, with about 16,700 square kilometers, has almost 74% of it being agrarian, which means that our soil conditions is actually very, very favorable to agriculture. That's number one. Number two, because Ogun State is so strategically located by virtue of proximity to Lagos, and also is referred to as the gateway because our significant competitive and comparative advantages is largely in the logistics value chain that Ogun State has. One of the busiest highways in this country, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, is in Ogun State. And so with these two factors in mind, it was decided that it was going to be a cargo airport, which will be the first purpose-built cargo airport in this part of Nigeria, particularly in Ogun State, where when you look at the agricultural value chain in Ogun State and even in Nigeria, and to reposition Ogun State for massive industrialization and take advantage of the recently executed Africa Continental Free Trade Zone, it is very, very important that Nigeria takes advantage of this by being very, very competitive and also begin to add value for exports. And this is where this airport actually comes into play. So you look at that, you look at the location itself. You have the Lagos-Ibadan, the Shagamu-Benin, and there are other two important road networks that are very close to this airport as well. The Ikorodu-Shagamu is actually also another route. And also you have the Epe-Ijebu road. One of the most important factors for establishment of airports, especially cargo airports, is accessibility, and evacuation is so critical. That location itself is also right bang in the middle of Ogun State that connects the three senatorial districts together, and is right also very close to the cash crop plantations that we have in Ogun State as well. The oil palm plantations, the cashew plantations, the rubber plantations. And so when you look at that and you look at the proliferation of industries that are springing up in that area, you can't have a better location than that. And now, even from what we consider to be the business case as well, during this administration, we were met with two of these projects. One was a passenger airport, and this one was a cargo airport. And an interministerial committee was actually established to look at the two and to reevaluate the business case of these two airports. One of the things also we did was a strategic transport intervention plan, STIP, strategic transport intervention plan, which basically comes up with the initiatives around how Ogun State can leverage on its competitive and comparative advantage, being a gateway state. And so he was decided, and even from that plan, even that plan was actually done by an external consultant as well. In addition to the interministerial committee that was set up, we found out that this airport was going to be the best, and that's how we essentially embarked on it. Finally, in line with our economic development agenda, it is very critical that as we aim to position Ogun State as the fastest growing economy in Nigeria, it is critical that industrialization is a key part of it. We're already the industrial hub of this country, but a lot of the hubs that have recently been opened were not properly planned, and that's why there are issues with baseline infrastructure in most of these locations. And so we have recently created some economic development clusters where we will have a one-stop shop where industrial and economic activities can happen. And so the location of this airport as well is central to all the economic development clusters that were recently created, from the Jebu Economic Development Cluster to Remo Economic Development Cluster to Magboro Economic Development Cluster to Abeokuta Economic Development Cluster. And the concept of aerotropolis is one in which you have the airport itself as the anchor project, where we also have other support facilities in a very, very big expanse of land, 5,000 hectares. What you really need for an airport is actually between 500 to 800 hectares. But with all these support facilities, especially logistics and distribution hub, which is so important for evacuation purposes in Ogun State, where you have all these logistic companies, with warehouses, even fast-moving consumer goods, and a lot of industry springing up in the area. We use this location as well as a warehouse and logistics hub and distribution hub. Okay. In addition to quite a lot of the facilities that we have there as well. So that's why we are very, very excited about this facility, and it's one in which we want to develop in phases, so that and the first phase is going to focus on the functional cargo airport, and obviously a project of this nature, and in line with our economic goal,
Mr. Okubadejo,
public-private.
Finally, the controversy between the cargo airport and the passengers airport, has it been laid to rest?
The one in Wasime or the one?
Yeah, I mean, just like I mentioned earlier, the process for the continuation of this project actually started much earlier. But during the Senate Committee on Aviation's visit to the state, it was clear that there was actually some interest in this facility. And so there was a hearing that was done, and you will recall that this is the only airport in Ogun State that has both the Federal Ministry of Aviation and also the NCAA's approval as far back as 2008. So, and it was unequivocally pointed out at that particular hearing at the Senate chambers that the only recognized airport project in the state by the regulator that's been saddled with the responsibility of ensuring development of and the standardization